This video is sponsored by Twitch.tv Platform and Twitch.tv Shreg, whatever the fuck this is, bro. It's no surprise that a good bit of Rivals player base came from Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch was pretty much the biggest hero shooter for years. Even after the horrendous release of Overwatch 2, I guarantee you that people would have had Overwatch immediately pop up in their mind if you said the words hero shooter. I even had some Overwatch experience. Here's the thing though, I honestly put barely any time into that game. I managed to hit a peak rank of Diamond, nearly one-tricking Genji after like 150 hours of playing, and then stopped playing as consistently. I never even played ODub 1, I literally only played it after ODub 2 was released. The hero shooter I really come from, or class shooter, or arena shooter, depending on what genre game you think it is, it's not that deep, is Team Fortress 2.
Source 3 health, thanks! This is it, gentlemen!
We can get it over there,
Okay, soldier pipe, soldier behind rock!
Left side, left side!
I'm bombing forward, guys!
Walk! Kill them! Kill them! This! Yes!
Yeah!
Oh my god!
Don't say shitters, what the fuck?
I have over 5,000 hours on TF2. I spent over half of that time being decently active in the comp scene. In fact, all of those clips I just played are organized competitive play.
I missed that because I'm just so bad. I'm just that bad. Are you on my cam? Bro.
What just happened? This is generally what TF2 looks like. The majority of the player base tends to enjoy this as their main way of playing TF2. I've been a spy main ever since I picked up this game in the summer of 2017, and I've loved this game since day one. When I picked up Marvel Rivals, I decided to main Psylocke because I personally think that she has like the closest playstyles to spy out of any other character in the game. In this video, I just wanted to talk about the similarities and differences of these two games, plus the things I prefer in each game. If a TF2 player came up to me and asked, hey, I want to try one of these two hero shooters out, which one is the closest to TF2 gameplay wise? A lot of people are going to point towards Overwatch since there's less overall abilities in that one, and the first person aspect makes aiming feel similar. However, hot take maybe, I would personally say to play Marvel Rivals because the game just feels more like TF2. What I mean by this is that TF2 is an extremely fast-paced game. The movement of the game is so smooth, and the damage in the game is so damn high and fast. Overwatch feels the opposite in the sense that you have to think more during engagements in order to secure kills and to avoid dying. You have to actively think about what abilities you are trading and how to approach different situations. Now, I'm not trying to say that you can't think about how to approach certain situations in TF2, nor am I saying that you can't just out-duel somebody in Overwatch. In both games, you certainly can. I'm just saying that TF2 favors more mechanical skill, while Overwatch favors more game sense. Meanwhile, Rivals feels like it's in a perfect blend of the two. The damage and healing in Rivals is so high that good mechanics are more rewarding in this game compared to Overwatch. However, the insane amount of abilities and general different playstyles in Rivals forces you to think more about fights than TF2. I get that a lot of people tend to complain about how fast you can die or how fast people get healed up in Rivals compared to Overwatch, but generally for me, I actually really like the fast-paced combat of this game since it rewards you for good mechanics and forces you to process situations faster. Another thing that's similar between TF2 and Rivals is the fact that there's no role lock. In TF2's casual 12v12, there are basically no class limits. This means that you can effectively enjoy the game in any way you want. Do you want to actually win your match by swapping to a class that's needed? Go for it. Do you just enjoy pub stomping and playing only power classes? Go for it. Do you want to make a spy montage and literally be the third or even fourth spy on your team? Go for it. Someone on your team might complain about the abundant surplus of a certain class on your team, but at the end of the day, you're realistically the only one who can dictate how much fun you have in TF2. Although people generally are more likely to fill what role is needed in quick play for Marvel Rivals, the same thing still stands. people tend to just play whatever they like and swap if they feel like they want to. In quick play, it's very common to see 3 DPS or 3 supports without anyone really complaining. Well, they still do, whether it's your team or the enemy team. And this is due to the fact that a good chunk of quick play players realize that people should be allowed to play whatever they want without role restrictions, but also taking note that a lack of a role will probably make them get rolled. Now, let's bring up competitive rivals. No, I am not talking about pro play. In fact, I won't even be going over pro play and rivals in this video. Sorry to that part of the audience. I'm just going to be strictly talking about the environment and general feeling of the competitive game mode. In this game mode, people will tend to favor a 2-2-2 comp, way more than quick play will. Even then, competitive TF2 is more like competitive rivals than competitive Overwatch. This is the fact that TF2's main competitive game mode is 6v6 and Overwatch is mainly 5v5. It might not seem much to the inexperienced player, but the addition of those 2 extra players makes 5v5 extremely different from 6v6. That extra 1 player per team means that there are a lot more plays to be made, and so no role feels too empty. In Rivals, the standard typical comp is 2 Vanguards, 2 Duelists, and 2 Supports. This is your versatile Swiss Army knife comp due to the fact that there's an even spread of the roles, and that there's at least 2 people per role, meaning that a death of a certain player doesn't mean you immediately lose that role's specialty. I understand that TF2's 6v6 classes play much differently compared to the typical hero shooters, tank, DPS, or support archetypes, but you basically know what I mean. Competitive TF2 and Rivals 6v6 format makes them much closer than TF2's 6v6 and Overwatch's 5v5 format. The last thing I want to talk about is something that has not really been brought up before in this entire community at all, especially since this is very specifically a competitive TF2 thing. The closest thing to an ultimate for TF2 is a mechanic for the medic called Uber Charge, where basically you are immune to any sort of damage for 8 whole seconds. In 6 is an even Highlander, Uber exchanges occur kind of just like how support ults exchange in Rivals. Teams in both games tend to pop their Uber or support ults when a large amount of damage is happening or when they need to take space extremely fast. The offensive team wants to make sure that they at least force the enemy to use their Uber or support ult, and if possible, get a few kills with it. The defensive team wants to make sure that they can pop their thing as late as possible without letting any of their teammates die, so they can get a better Uber ult at the end. Finally, when the exchange ends, both teams can finally have a dry fight where people can finally expend all of their resources to see who can win a proper team fight. I understand that a lot of people complain how long and sustainable Rivals support ults are, but as a TF2 player, it just kind of felt like home. But I don't know. Now, let's talk about the things that I like more about Rivals than TF2. I feel like Rivals is so much more beginner friendly than TF2 for just so many different factors. In fact, there are so many different factors, I'm just gonna speedrun them. Go! There's an easier to navigate main menu, TF2 has BS default settings like 70 FOV, fast weapon switch off, and your gun's view model literally take up half of your screen. The roles for each hero in Rivals is relatively accurate when TF2's offense, defense, and support categories for the classes are so outdated. Rivals UI is much more visually appealing and provides info faster than TF2's default UI. Rivals literally allows you to play against bots with friends, while TF2 has a bot training mode that's solo, and if you really do want to practice against bots with friends, you have to make a server with either a third-party website or knowing how to code your own server. Rivals has abilities for its main form of skill expression, so naturally it's going to be easier than TF2's, which has weapons and mechanics for its main form of skill expression. And it's over. Pretty good time, I guess. Although it's not Overwatch levels of matchmaking, TF2 has definitely slowed down in terms of casual matchmaking speed because of the Meet Your Match update nearly 10 years ago. Speaking of updates, TF2 had its last major update nearly 9 years ago. Is it because Valve wanted most of its developers on deadlock? Is it because Valve's developers didn't want to work with a piece of shit spaghetti code? You know, who really knows? I wouldn't say TF2 is dead right now, I would just say that it couldn't reach its full potential. For the majority of its past decade, TF2's casual was plagued with bots and cheaters. These bots and cheaters killed a lot of people's passion for the game due to the fact they literally flooded lobbies and it felt like you had to gamble to play one good match of casual TF2, especially on non-popular maps. We were also promised a major update that revolved around the heavy right after Jungle Inferno, yet that never happened. I've heard a decent chunk of the community say that they're fine with TF2's balancing missing right now, and that they just realistically only want updates that constantly keep the anti-cheat up to date. I do see their point because TF2 honestly is an amazing game, gameplay wise right now, but I really wanted to see this game grow. I literally started playing TF2 a year after Meet Your Match, so I truly never experienced the beauty of quick play, but I wish they added quick play back. I wish they made matchmaking competitive as an actual fun alternative way of playing the game. I wish they added new items and balance changes for the classes so it wouldn't be stale. I wish this billion-dollar corporation hired more developers so Deadlock and TF2, let's add some other Valve games like CS2 in there as well, would be worked on at the same time. Rivals though, it's literally the exact opposite issue. Rivals legit spoils its player base with updates. Are the updates good every time? Fuck no. But at least they try to do something within a quick time frame. My friend and I were talking about how Rivals is legitimately the best game we've ever played in terms of the developers giving us content. They literally give us new skins, although let's stop having Spidey, Jeff, Invis, Luna, and Psylocke skins every other week, yeah? New maps, new characters, bug fixes, gameplay changes, overall game system changes, PvE modes, and even a storage downsizing, all within a year and a half of this game being out. And then, the script was written before Season 9 was revealed. The new team-up overhaul, it's just crazy. NetEase genuinely treats us so well compared to other live service games that I feel like if every company treats their games like how NetEase treats Rivals, we'd be living in a utopian world. Now, they focus on updates so much, especially ever since that they said that half seasons will only last a month, that it has definitely ruined the quality of some of the things they add. This Moon Girl wobble shit looks like AI. People can't hit the ranks they used to. Me. Because they don't have enough time in 2 months to grind back where they usually were. There are new bugs in this game pretty much every single update because I don't know, they just don't playtest. Like honestly, they should realistically go back to longer seasons because the cracks are showing, but I'd rather have this type of passion for the game than whatever dumpster fire TF2 is. I really do feel like TF2 is the absolute king of casual shooters. In my opinion, it fucking diffs whatever the slop of modern Call of Duty is. There are 9 classes that suit a wide variety of playstyles, and yet you can swap out your weapons for alternate items that change your playstyle slightly. What I love about Rivals is that the game pretty much provides you with a good amount of the cosmetic currency over time, so you can pretty much buy a skin that you really like, even if you have never spent a single cent on the game. However, it feels like some Rival skins are overpriced, and I'm just gonna be honest, no one really wants like the sprays, the emotes, and like the player banners all the time. Only some of them are good. Meanwhile, in TF2, you can just do so much cosmetic wise. There are so many different varieties of a single weapon, and you have 3 cosmetic slots that you can technically make your own outfit with. You can apply certain effects, you can even paint the accent colors on certain cosmetics. There's a reason why TF2's main description on Steam includes hats at the end. The best part is, most of this game's cosmetics are relatively cheap and full loadouts can be customized with a small budget. The main downside of cosmetics is that you have to understand how trading works on third-party websites, and you can't really rely on the actual official store in TF2's menu for items. You see this weapon for $1? Yeah, it's actually just worth 2 cents on most trading websites. And do you remember me saying that most of this game's items are relatively cheap around like 10 seconds ago? Yeah, that's the other downside. Some of this game's cosmetics are so fucking expensive. Like, what do you mean this dildo fucking rocket launcher pretty much is over $100? Like, what the hell? What I also like more about TF2 is the variety of game modes. The 3 main game modes in Rivals are Domination, Convergence, and Convoy. Meanwhile, TF2 has a lot of game modes. TF2 has 5 CP, Payload, King of the Hill, Attack Defend, Capture the Flag, even though that shit is so ass, and has other smaller game modes in the official casual queue, and it also allows its community to make community servers where game modes made by the fanbase are played. And not only that, the 2 main competitive formats play 5CP, Payload, and King of the Hill drastically different from the casual scene. For some people that have never played TF2, they might think, what if I really just enjoy this one game mode? I don't want to roulette and have a chance that I'm not playing my favorite game mode every time I load up casual. Here's the thing, you don't have to. You can specifically select what game mode you want to play in casual. You can specifically select what maps you want to play under that game mode. You don't even have to play casual, just play a community server and play a Minecraft Plaza trade server or something. Finally, I just want to compare the communities. I feel like both communities generally share the same amount of people that just, enjoy the game without talking, and the same amount of people that are just generally nice little chunguses. However, I feel like Rivals players generally just have more modern humor, while TF2 players just have, like, Redditor humor. And also, Rivals players tend to be more toxic, but it's definitely because of the ranked environment I play in. I guarantee you, if TF2's main game mode was competitive, it would be more toxic than Rivals since it's a Valve game and they just basically have free speech in all their games.
Green, what's your problem, Green? What is your problem? Missile alone ramp. Missile alone ramp.
Now for the big old question, which game is better? And I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry. It's honestly just subjective. I feel like you would like TF2 better if you liked turning your brain off more and just focusing on a mechanics-focused game. However, I think you like Rivals more if you like ability-focused combat and like swapping to whatever hero's kit is more important for that moment. Right now, currently, at this current moment, I personally enjoy playing Rivals over TF2 due to the fact that there's just actual updates, and I do enjoy playing live server shooters with some competitive aspect to it. I know that there's not too many chud TF2 players watching this video, especially since we're over the era of TF2 versus Overwatch nearly a decade ago, but there's definitely still some of them lurking out there. They'll definitely say something like, TF2 is the greatest shooter of all time, nothing else fucking compares. And listen, you know, to each their own, but these TF2 players that, you know, think like this, some of them refuse to acknowledge that someone could like a different shooter over TF2. You can enjoy both games at once, and not only that, I've somehow queued into games with pro TF2 players in my Rivals game, and I've never even talked to them before, I just know them by name. If these TF2 players who pushed the absolute limits of TF2 and are willing to put more hours into this game more than I've ever have, are also enjoying Rivals, then you can also not freak out that TF2 players can enjoy other things too.
Wait, what was the Roamer class again?
What's up? Alright, bro.